Thunderbolts is a decent enough movie by Marvel standards, but compare it to the A24 indie heaven like the marketing machine tells us to, and it falls apart. It's a new episode in the largest TV series of all time, yet it doesn't feel like a part of any bigger picture. It has the pacing and scale of a season finale instead of a feature film, which, considering how messy and unfinished this phase of the Marvel canon has been, shouldn't be that much of a surprise. For the past 5 years, Marvel has paced its streaming shows like movies, and its movies like serials. Long gone are the days when the movies felt like an event. Now they're an obligatory pit stop on the way to streaming. Thunderbolts is also a victim of Marvel's ever expanding cinematic universe, which means that to understand it, you have to do homework first. Half of the characters are one offs from films made over 8 years ago. Some only appeared on streaming series that a few watched. The film doesn't waste time introducing anyone either. There's a line or two of exposition to establish a name and rank, but that's all you have to go with. If you didn't have any connection with these characters from before, this is not the film that will change that. The basic plot is that Yelena, Florence Pugh, is depressed after the death of her sister during the Infinity War, and her relationship with her father, Alexei David Harbour, is strained. Apparently nobody cares about their mother, who isn't even mentioned even once. Meanwhile, the villainous Valentina de Fontaine, played by Julie Louis-Dreyfus, is under scrutiny by the government, including Senator Bucky Barnes, played by Sebastian Stan, who believe that she has a new super soldier program of some sort. It's all a bit of a murky mess, and you kind of have to start drawing lines between shows like Falcon and the Winter Soldier and even some offshoot stuff in from Hawkeye to make sense of it all. But the movie doesn't seem to care, so I don't think the audience will either. Fontaine sends Yelena to clean up evidence of her wrongdoing, only to double-cross her, John Walker, played by Wyatt Russell, Ghost, played by Hannah John Kamen, and Taskmaster, played by Olga Kurylenko, leaving them for dead as she cleans up her tracks. On the way, they meet the human guinea pig Bob, played by Lewis Pullman, who suffers from amnesia. They band together and decide to go take down Valentina on their own. And that's about it you can say before you start getting into spoiler territory, although a lot of it seems to have already been spoiled in the trailers themselves. And after 2 hours of spectacle, there's not a lot to write home about. As the film cuts to the credits, it feels so abrupt that I was certain that I had nodded off at some point, but I hadn't. Instead, the film had run into the Marvel wall, meaning it can't go any further or explore any other topic without bumping into a competing property. It's the same thing as with Eternals, in that they present so many grand ideas that they're gonna trip up another Marvel movie in the process. So they just kinda get sidelined into or pigeonholed, and I wouldn't be surprised if down the line this film was forgotten too. Thematically, there's a lot to like, if not love. Thunderbolts deals with trauma, depression, healing, and forgiving yourself for past mistakes. The only problem is that it's all territory already covered far better in Everything Everywhere All at Once, which did it for a fraction of the budget. In fact, look at the final act of Thunderbolts and compare it to Everything Everywhere, and you'll see just how similar they are and how rigid Thunderbolts feels next to the looser and more inventive indie darling. Which isn't to say that movies can't talk about the same things. It's only natural that films like this, which are aimed for a specific youth audience, will hit similar talking points. But Thunderbolts tries so hard, be that in marketing or just optics, to play itself off like a casual, cool little oddity that just happens to be Marvel. Yet, while it's a slickly made and polished product, it can't do any of the same things as Everything Everywhere All at Once did, precisely because it's a Marvel property. And that doesn't make it a bad film. By all accounts, it's entertaining and fun, and the cast is charming, and the director Jake Schreier and his stunt director Haiti Moneymaker stage action far better than most Marvel filmmakers have. But it all highlights the limitations that Marvel has cultivated for itself and gives us very little to expect beyond an advert for another film, which in turn promises that they'll get it right this time. Thunderbolts isn't the problem, but it isn't the solution either. It just is, and the rest is up to the audience. How much you like it depends on how much you are in for the Marvel ride. At this point, I'm in it because I've already spent 20 films or so and a number of TV series watching them, but I can't say that I'm getting the same kind of enjoyment from it that I used to. Maybe time has just passed. Who knows? Anyway, we have another phase coming in just a few months, so maybe that'll be different. See you next time.